Often said that timing is everything in politics. Well, Donald Trump is reminded of that lesson today, as is Bernie Sanders. Now, the Clinton campaign won't confirm the authenticity of what I'm about to read, but it also isn't denying that this comment about banking regulation is from a speech Clinton delivered to Deutsche Bank in 2014. How do you get to the golden key? How do we figure out what works? And the people that know the better than anybody are the people who work in the industry. That excerpt, was in hacked emails of Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta back during the primaries when Sanders was demanding Clinton release transcripts of her paid speeches. Now, essentially, she's giving a speech to Deutsche Bank, again, if we believe this, and the Clinton campaign hasn't denied it, essentially saying, let the fox guard the hen house is how Bernie Sanders would spin that. Others could spin it as, of course, you're not going to go to pre-med students to regulate the banking industry. But if this Donald Trump tape were not out, would we not be talking a lot more about these speech excerpts and Hillary Clinton's, at least some would say, sucking up to bankers?
Well, look, I mean, she is very fortunate that Russian intelligence and Julian Assange don't understand the difference between a primary and a general election.
That's right.
Because if this had been a March surprise, we might have a very different set of people standing on the debate stage tonight. I mean, this was really, really damaging stuff. You can explain some of this away. She's kind of said this in public in a softer way, and there were other things that she said. The most damaging thing I thought that she said, just in terms of a soundbite, if Trump were doing commercials, was this notion that she could say things in private as a politician and then things publicly and have them be different. That confirms people's worst fears about Hillary Clinton.
Right, and that's exactly the issue that, all of these women, for example, who are not happy about either candidate, say they just simply feel that they can't trust her because they think she says whatever she thinks would suit each audience, and right in that quote, you have that exact thing.
And those progressives, the Bernier busters who are either going to sit this out or go for Jill Stein or Gary Johnson, I mean, this doesn't help her with those folks. And those millennial voters who already, going back to 2008, didn't really trust her, didn't trust her in this election, have been tailing off in terms of their support. So it doesn't help her. But listen, how can Donald Trump make this case? I assume he'll try to make it tonight, but he's got so much of his own visceral type of that it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
The idea of this email was John Podesta, the campaign chairman, asked campaign aides, go through these transcripts, just in case they do become public, go through these transcripts, tell us, or if we're debating whether to release them, go through them and see what's troublesome in there. Another thing that I bet Donald Trump does bring up tonight, that in a speech to a Brazilian bank in 2013, she talked about the United States and then the hemisphere essentially being like the European Union. My dream is a hemispheric common market with open trade and open borders. Conservatives have jumped on the open borders part. And I assume Donald Trump's going to try to make her answer for that tonight.
John, I did a search on Friday afternoon after we heard about this on Clinton open borders, and almost everything that popped up were fact checks that said Donald Trump has accused her of wanting open borders. She's never said that. Now we have the evidence that she has said that. I think that this issue of where she stands on trade is an important one. It will be an important one going forward. She has clearly moved on this issue. People think that she moved only for political reasons. She hasn't explained this. I think this forces her at some point, and perhaps tonight, to be more explicit about if she's changed, why she's changed, what she said there. Did she really believe that, and why?
And I think in what Dan is talking about, we have just formulated what would be, I think, probably the most plausible Donald Trump debate strategy tonight, which is, why are we talking about a 2005 tape, which I've already apologized for? Why aren't we talking about this revelation of what Hillary Clinton really stands for as president? If I were them, I would answer almost every question in the way that Pence did, referring to these hacked emails.
Forget Pence. That was a strategy a guy named William Jefferson Clinton used quite successfully in 1992. Whenever his character issues came up, he'd always say, they're trying to make this election about me. This election is about you. It worked very well for him. The question is, can Donald Trump pull that off?
Donald Trump has tried that tone in some of his speeches when he's been criticized in the past, and saying that, making himself the candidate of the people. So he will have to do that in a very clear way.
The problem is Donald Trump is obsessed with himself, right? And he always feels like he needs to defend himself. That was the mousetrap, right? Over and over again that Hillary Clinton set for him, that he always wants to litigate himself and his own greatness.
Our reporters give us a sneak peek into their notebooks next.